Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bristol's Nutrition Time. I'm Debbie, Program Director here at Bristol, and this is Dawn, our staff nutritionist. And today we're going to be talking about healthy aging. So there are many factors that influence our aging. Some of them, as we know, are genetic, and we can't control that, but we can control things by eating healthy, exercising, getting adequate sleep, and seeing your doctor regularly. So today we'll talk about the actions that we can take so that we can live more independently as we age and have a better quality of life or have the same quality of life as we age. So Dawn, are you able to tell us the best foods for healthy aging?
Yes, so we need a variety of nutrients for optimal health. Some of the best foods for healthy aging are fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and dairy products. The plate should be very colorful, and that makes sure that we're getting enough vitamins and minerals throughout the day.
Okay, and what kind of fruits should someone be eating and how much?
So we need about 2 cups of of fruits every single day. Whole fruits are always best, so if we think about like whole apples, peaches, pears, plums, bananas, grapes, those are the best types because those have more fiber and vitamins and minerals rather than fruit juice or processed fruit. And fruit juice and processed fruit often have added sugar, and too much added sugar can lead to higher risk of high blood pressure, inflammation, weight gain, or even fatty liver disease. So we want to make sure we're eating the whole versions of fruit when we can.
Okay. What about vegetables? What types of vegetables are better for us?
So vegetables in all forms are really great. They're full of fiber, which helps us stay full longer, and they also provide essential vitamins and minerals that we need every day. Vegetables are typically low in calories and they're low in fat, which makes them a great addition to all of our meals. And we need about 2.5 cups of vegetables every single day. Like I said before, they're really great in any form, fresh, canned, or frozen. But with the canned ones, I would always just say watch out for for the sodium in them. So we want to be looking for the low sodium or the no sodium canned varieties of vegetables.
So I have a question because I'm always trying to not age as fast, I guess. I don't know. So my question is with my kids, they think that corn and starchy stuff is a vegetable. So even the starchy vegetables are okay?
Starchy vegetables are okay. If we're thinking about a plate and we're having corn, it's almost better to be thinking about it as a grain instead of a vegetable. So when I say have 2.5 cups of vegetables a day, I'm meaning the non-starchy kinds, and those are cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuces, onions, peppers, things like that. So if you think about the starchy ones, which are corn, potatoes, things like that.
Peas and
those are the ones you want to be having a little less than the non-starchy.
Okay.
Yep.
So I could just not have those and just have myself some bread?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
That works for me. So we mentioned that we need protein in our plates, but can you give us some examples of proteins?
Sure. So protein is very essential for our bodies because they help keep our muscles nice and strong, and they also provide really long-lasting energy. Protein is typically found in meats, but it's also found in some plant foods. So the best sources of protein, I would say, are beef, chicken, fish, shellfish like shrimp or scallops. Beans are very high in protein, eggs, tofu, and even nuts are really high in protein. So when we're thinking about protein on our plate, you want to have about 3 ounces, which is about the size of the palm of your hand or like a deck of cards.
Okay. Are you able to tell somebody how much protein they are able to take on a daily basis?
So it's really individualized. It's based on your height and weight.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone wanted to know that specifically, they could meet with a dietitian to see how much protein they would need.
Okay, and then sometimes people have a hard time with eating, a lot of meat or, the chicken and the beef. So are there any other substitutes that they could do for that besides the tofu?
Yeah, so there's tofu, edamame, which are soybeans, are really, really high in protein. Regular beans are super high in protein. They do have a lot of meat substitutes nowadays, like seitan is one. A lot of the times they'll use that in place of like a sausage, so that's a great source of protein. Also, whole grains have a lot of protein, and dairy has a lot of protein. So there's many ways we can get protein in.
So for somebody who, my other question is, for somebody who enjoys rice and pasta with their meals, are those good for healthy aging, or is there something else that we could have?
Yeah, so rice and pasta are great for healthy aging. I would just always look for a whole grain variety of those. Whole grains are loaded with fiber, they're loaded with vitamins that we need every day. So those are great for healthy aging. So if you're shopping, you want to be looking for the whole grain varieties, which are like whole grain pasta, brown rice, quinoa, whole grain crackers like Triscuits and wheat thins are typically whole grain. So when you're shopping, you can look at the food label, and the first ingredient should say whole grain on it. Also, a lot of the times with packaging, right on the front of the package, there'll be a little blurb, and it'll literally say made with 100% whole grains, and that's when you know it's good to go with whole grain.
So can you tell us why fiber is also important?
Yeah, so fiber is a type of carbohydrate that our bodies cannot digest. So most carbs are broken down into sugar, which is glucose, and fiber can't do that. So instead of it being broken down to sugar, it just passes through our body undigested, which is why it helps so much with our digestive tract. Fiber can help regulate our blood sugar, and it can help keep our hunger in check also. Fiber is found in so many fruits and vegetables. It's found in whole grains, beans, and it's probably best known for relieving constipation, which we know as we age can sometimes be an issue. So foods containing fiber also provide many other health benefits, like maintaining a healthy weight, lowering cholesterol, and lowering your risk for diabetes or heart disease. As we age, like I said, our bodies have more difficulty digesting food, so making sure we're having a lot of fiber can help maintain a healthy digestive tract and making sure everything's moving out as it should.
Okay. So my other question is, I love cheese, not so much dairy, but like I understand that like dairy can, or you can gain a lot of weight if you eat a lot of that.
Yeah.
Which I only eat the cheese. I don't eat anything else.
Yeah, so dairy, it can cause weight gain, but that's really if you're consuming really large amounts and you're consuming the types with a lot of saturated fat, like whole milk or heavy cream. Those can cause weight gain if you're having a lot of them. So when you're shopping for cheese or other dairy products, look for low-fat varieties. So like low-fat milk, so it would be like 1% or skim, low-fat cottage cheese, low-fat yogurt, or regular low-fat cheeses.
That's great advice, but I just used a Portuguese cheese or a really sharp
Yeah.
cheddar, so I have to have that a couple of times a week.
Which is totally fine.
But
Just
I do
making
have
sure you're
my
having
grapes and cucumbers
Yeah.
right next to it. So
having a nice little
I figure it's a
balanced
nice
snack.
balance.
That's great. So we do need 3 cups of dairy every day, which does sound like a lot, but dairy has so many benefits. So it's really high in protein. A cup of milk has 8 grams of protein, so that's a great amount. It's also really high in calcium, which is great for bone health, so it can prevent osteoporosis, it can prevent bone fractures, which we know happens when we age. Our bones aren't as strong anymore.
I don't drink 3 cups of milk a day or
Yeah.
eat that, so how could I?
So you can get your dairy through other ways. You can get it. So when we have dairy, we're really getting the protein and the calcium. So we can get those from other sources. So we can get calcium, like I said, from cheese. We can get it from yogurt, cottage cheese. So foods like that, we can get those things from.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've spoken to my doctor, and I actually take a calcium supplement
Yeah.
because of that, just because osteoporosis runs in my family. So I have to start taking that.
Yeah,
guess
that's
when
great.
you're in
If you're, as long
mid-40s,
as you
you
consult
start
with your
taking those
doctor,
things.
that's totally fine to be taking
Okay,
calcium.
great. So because I've mentioned vitamins, are you able to talk about some vitamins that could
Sure.
help us?
Yeah, so a vitamin I really like for healthy aging is vitamin C. Vitamin C has so many benefits. It really helps with wound healing, and as we know, if we're injured when we're a little bit older, our bodies do not heal wounds as well. So vitamin C can really boost wound healing. It's great for the immune system. We tend, as we age, we are not recovering as quickly from illness, so getting enough vitamin C is very important. And it can also help with iron absorption. So foods with vitamin C are kind of the ones like we really know, like orange juice, berries, things like that, strawberries. But it's also really high with potatoes, tomatoes, and broccoli, and even cabbage. So there's some really good sources of vitamin C in those.
And why is iron important for us?
So iron is important because it is a major component of hemoglobin, which is a type of protein in our red blood cells. And that carries oxygen from our lungs to the rest of our body. So without enough iron, we really don't have enough red blood cells to transport oxygen, which can make us feel fatigued and weak and not very great. So the best sources of iron would be those fortified breakfast cereals, have a great amount of iron in there. Red meat, eggs have iron, also dark leafy greens. When iron is eaten with vitamin C, it's absorbed more efficiently. So it's really important to be pairing those foods together. So maybe we could try having like a spinach salad with some fruit on there to get the most of the iron and the vitamin C.
So my doctor always tells me to keep hydrated, but how much water should I really be drinking in this coffee count?
Yeah, so as you age, your sense of thirst can decrease, so you don't always know when you're thirsty. So when we're not drinking water, it can lead to dehydration, which we all know it's not great. It can lead to a lot of issues like constipation, urinary tract infections, even confusion. So hydration needs are really based on the individual, but like a rule of thumb for everyone could be about 4 cups of water per day, or as advised by your doctor. Coffee, if you're drinking it black, it can count towards your water content for the day, but most people aren't drinking it that way. So I would recommend sticking to plain water, or maybe water with like fruit in it, or water with the flavor packet like Crystal Light. Those are usually better options to stay hydrated.
Okay. So for somebody who's trying to eat better for healthy aging, are they able to have dessert, or is that something that should...
Yeah, so we should never restrict ourselves of anything, especially our sweet treats, but they should be eaten in moderation. So too much added sugar, like I kind of said before, it can increase our risk of tooth decay, heart disease, and diabetes. So when thinking about desserts, maybe we can try having some healthier options, which are like fruit with whipped cream, low-fat pudding, angel food cake, low-fat yogurt with fruit or granola. You could also try having a small piece of your favorite dessert. What's one of your favorite desserts?
I like cheesecake.
Cheesecake, yeah. So maybe just having a smaller piece of that and savoring it rather than having a big, large piece. Other desserts people typically like pumpkin pie, birthday cake, cookies, things like that. Just having them in moderation rather than big, big servings of those.
So the problem with the pies is you get it, but then you just have a slice each day, so you're only having it in moderation.
Yeah, so have it in moderation.
But I tell myself it's only for a week or two, so it's okay.
Yeah. Like I said, we don't want to restrict ourselves of dessert, but just making sure we're not having it all the time. Maybe just, special occasions here and there.
Okay. So exercise is a really important factor in keeping healthy. Can you tell us, how people can maintain like an exercise program, or what they could do?
Physical activity is really important for healthy aging. There's a lot of evidence about older adults that exercise. They don't only live longer, but they live better lives, which means they're enjoying more years of their life without any pain or any disease or disability. So exercise can really prevent a lot of diseases. It does have a lot of other benefits, but a big one is maintaining a healthy weight with exercise. Adults with obesity have higher risks of many diseases like type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. But also, thinner is not always better too. So being too thin as an older adult can weaken your immune system. It can increase the risk of bone fractures and osteoporosis, and it can also be a symptom of other diseases like cancer and things like that.
Okay. So for somebody who is just starting out to exercise, or like they've been not feeling well, so now they're going to start doing something, like what would you recommend that they, put into their daily lives? Like how could they start that?
Yeah. So there's so many ways we can get started with exercise. I always recommend being physically active in very small amounts at first. That way you're not overexerting yourself. So maybe try making specific times throughout the day or throughout the week to exercise. Also, there's many activities like walking, bike riding, gardening, even yoga that are free or low cost and they don't require really any crazy equipment. So those are great options to start out. As we exercise more, we start to get energized from exercising rather than exhausted from exercising. So it's good to be doing it consistently. But I think the key also is finding exercises that you really enjoy doing. So that way you're not like dreading exercise, you know?
Yeah. I think like with people like who sometimes start, it is really important to start slow.
Yeah.
Even if it is just like a walk and you go for 10 or 15 minutes and then you just like go a little longer every day, I think that is great.
Yeah, really breaking it up and then really gradually maybe increasing as you get more used to it.
Yeah.
So those are good tips.
So what else can we do for healthy aging besides diet and exercise?
So getting enough sleep is really important for healthy aging. Enough sleep at night helps us to stay healthy and very alert throughout the day. So older adults typically need the same sleep as regular adults, but they don't always get enough, and that's typically because older adults tend to be in more pain or they tend to be sick, so they might be tossing and turning all night, and they also, as we age, we take more medications that can keep us up at night. So not getting enough sleep can make us feel depressed, fatigued, irritable, and they're more likely to have falls or accidents when we're on a lack of sleep. So sleep quality is really important for memory and for your maintaining a good mood. But there's so many things we can do to sleep better, which number one, I think, is having a sleep schedule. So making sure we're going to bed the same time every night and making sure we're waking up around the same time every morning. That way our bodies are kind of in a regular routine. I would also recommend avoiding napping too much. Sometimes if we nap during the day, we don't sleep as well at night. And also avoiding caffeine late in the day. Caffeine obviously helps us stay awake, so we don't want to be having that too late in the day.
Okay. So what about going to the doctors?
Yeah, so going to the doctor regularly is so important for healthy aging. Getting regular checkups can help doctors catch diseases before they start, or really early in their stages, so they're more treatable. It can help patients reduce risk factors for disease like high blood pressure and cholesterol. If we catch those things early, they can be maintained with either diet, exercise, or medication. I would recommend going to the doctor yearly and maybe more depending on your health status. So it's really important to be getting regular screenings because, again, those can uncover diseases that we might not have known that we had, like diabetes or cancer or heart disease. So if we're only seeking medical attention when we're having the symptoms, you might lose the chance of being able to treat it or prevent it in its early stages. So it's really important to be getting regular checkups to make sure that you can start treatment months or years earlier than would have been possible otherwise.
Yeah. And I think if anyone's starting anything new with supplements or even exercising, it's always really good to check with your doctor to make sure that everything's well with you and that you can go ahead and start with like any new program that you might be doing in exercise, or if you're just doing a new, trying new vitamins or something, just to make sure that they go well with your medications if somebody is taking medications. So thank you all for joining us here at Bristol Thyme, and we'll see you again soon.